What's up, Fantasy Football Universe? Is SC Romero at the PPR Show on X, here to bring you another conference preview. And today we're talking my top 10 offensive players and top 5 IDP players of the Big 12 Conference right after the intro. What's up, Fantasy Football Universe? Again, it is SC Romero here to bring you a Big 12 Devy prospect preview. Now, before we begin, if you like fantasy football, if you like redraft, if you like dynasty, if you like Devy, Fantasy Football Universe is for you. So begin with commenting, subscribing to our YouTube channel. We're bringing out daily content left and right, everything you want about fantasy football to help you prepare for your season and take home that championship trophy in your leagues. But let's talk about the Big 12. Let's talk about some of my top prospects going into this season on the offensive side of the ball. Number one, I don't think it's any surprise, wide receiver out of Arizona, Tetairoa McMillan, aka Tet McMillan. I've already spoken on him. My guy Mike from Dynasty Dogs hopped on, spoke about him for our Devy Diamonds. I've done the Devy Dash on him. If you have him as wide receiver one of the class, I'm not mad at you. I have an SEC prospect in there. I'm not mad if you had Tet McMillan. I get it. He has the size. He has the catching radius. He has the speed. He has a lot of techniques that can get you to that next level. A lot of techniques and why people love him. I think this year is going to be interesting. A lot of people take for granted that Jacob Cowing was a good wide receiver for Arizona last year as well. And because Jacob Cowing was on the team, Ted McMillan had a lot of opportunities as well. So now he's no longer there. What wide receiver two is going to step up to alleviate some of the looks from Ted so he's not being double team or pressured or just being the main focus of the offense in Arizona. But I'm excited to see him. I think he's going to do great this year. He's going to be one of your top wide receivers off the board, potentially a top 10. I don't think he's getting past pick 15 in the NFL draft. Ted McMillan, go grab him if you can. My number 2 prospect, however, running back, Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon. Now, took the nation by storm last year. 1,732 yards, 1,056 yards were after contact. Let me say that again. He had a total of 1,732 yards rushing. 1,732 yards after contact, meaning he has the ball and these guys are trying to hit him and he's still moving forward to gain some yards. 1,056 yards after contact. 68 missed tackles first. I think next year, we don't see it often. We saw it right with Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs. Next year has the potential to have 2 running backs go in the first round, one being one in the Big 10, which we'll talk about in preview later, other one being this Big 12 guy at Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon. If he comes in, he doesn't need to have 1,700 yards again. He doesn't need to do that. If he does it, what's that meme where it's like, talk to me about that time and you're just you know what I mean? Like, if he does it again, I mean, tears are going to flow. That's going to be a beautiful thing to see. He doesn't need to do that to be a first-round pick, but he does still need to go out there and produce, right? He can't just not have a good season. He needs to go out there and produce. So if he goes out there and does 1,200, 1,300-yard season, I think he could be a first-round pick. I mean, the Cowboys desperately need a running back, in my opinion, and they have a first-round pick. So I think he can be, and he would fit well in the Cowboys, and that would be a smash. I mean, that would be a top 3 potentially pick in your rookie drafts next year. But Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon, I mean, does it all. He runs with speed. He has the capability of breaking tackles. He has the footwork to get around. He's going to bully through you, though, and he's just going to grind and get those yards. That's just what he does. But I'm excited to see what he's doing next level and this year, too, what he's going to do for the Cowboys. Oh, not the Dallas Cowboys, but what he could do for them next year, like as in the following year, the next year's draft, 2025. But what he's going to do for the Oklahoma State Cowboys is going to be exciting to watch in the Big 12. The next guy, though, is Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Now, last year I was on the high horse. I'm not gonna bull BS around it. I was on the high horse. He was my QB1. I loved it. I thought he had the energy. I had a lot of things. When it comes to prospects, like I'm not judging kids on what they do. You know, do what you want. But man, I wish some of them had better PR, public relations, right? Just when it comes to like interviews, Shedeur has it, but like Prime, bro, you gotta step back a little bit. You're ruining a good thing. When they swift out offensive coordinators last year, it really hurt him. He started uh passing less efficiently, right? And that affected him. That the whole Colorado offense, in a sense, has changed. They bulked up the offensive line. They got him some more playmakers on the outside and the wide receivers. They brought in some new running backs. Shedeur Sanders is the only constant. They have, other guys that are staying there too. But I'm saying Shedeur is the constant, right? Shedeur can't play the same he played last year. Was it bad? No, it wasn't bad. Was it great? I wouldn't say it was necessarily great either. Like he has to evolve. Like he was running like his head was cut off last year because the offensive line was not that good. Unfortunately, it just wasn't. Reality, it wasn't. People were gaining pressure on him. He led the nation in sacks. He wasn't getting the ball out quickly enough. When he was superb. He is one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. We need to see that every single game, though. And if we do see that improvement, if he gets the ball out more quickly in every single game, if he's more consistent in every single game, Shedeur Sanders can definitely be a top prospect, like a top quarterback off the board, like first round prospect. But all those things need to change. I do love him as an athlete. I think if he gets a shot at the next level to start, yeah, he can take that and he can run with it. A lot of things I want to see tweaked this year. Going into the Big 12, this conference is really up for the taking, in my opinion. I maybe favor Oklahoma State right now because of the sheer um, pursuit that Ollie Gordon has when it comes to running the ball. So I think I favor them right now. I mean, Kansas looks good, Arizona looks good, right? But really, it's up for the taking. And Colorado entering, just like they did last year when Prime went with the Pac-12, they can't just go out there and have all this hype and not win. You can't win 4 games again, bro. Like you have to go out there and produce. I know you just want to get your kids to NFL, but bro, don't get drafted off your name, Shedeur. Like that's bro, like go out there and show them why you need to be a top pick. You know what I mean? Like that's a big part. So I'm excited to see what he could do. This is a new look offense, right? In a sense. So go out there, show some improvement, show you belong in the conversation, and let your game on the field do all the talking. Keep it quiet, ball hard, go out there and show that you put in the work and you're one of the top prospects in the nation. Speaking of Colorado, though, a reason why Shedeur is gonna be a top prospect is because of this guy right here, Colorado wide receiver Travis Hunter. Now we're gonna talk about Travis again, but on the wide receiver side, playmaker. I mean, he's by far one of the best dual threat athletes in the nation. And it's wide receiver and cornerback. And we'll talk about him in IDP too. But this kid, man, when he's healthy, him and Shedeur are a problem. He needs to stay healthy. And they brought in more offensive weapons, right? As I mentioned, more wide receivers, Will Shepherd, right? They have other guys there, and it, it's going to be big because as much as they may want to use Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball, you may have to limit some snaps. Like don't get him hurt. I know he wants to be out there and he wants to play and be for the team, but bro, also like think about, man, if you get a breather, that's a breather to rest up and go out there and give your 100% again. Don't overdo it in a sense. And that's something that's big, right? You have to have those breathers in between. And if they have the weapons, like it looks like they, went out there in the portal and got a lot of weapons, then some big things can happen. So Travis, go out there, ball out, man. If you go in as a wide receiver, I think that's great. I think it's better if you go into IDP. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Colorado wide receiver Travis Hunter, man, this kid's a playmaker. And if Shedeur is having a great season, chances are it's because Travis Hunter is on the other side of the passes for Shedeur as well. But the most, to me, the most underrated running back in the top running back discussion is Kansas running back Devin Neal. The most underrated running back in the top running back discussion is Kansas Devin Neal. Right now, I have him as RB3 in Devy. I really love this kid. Contact balance is great. Strength is great. Speed is great. He does it all. I think maybe it's because he's at Kansas. I don't know. Like he's not one of your top schools, like an SEC school. He's not like Oregon being all flashy. He's not like Ohio State, he's not at one of the top schools, right? But yet he's still a producer. And when Kansas finds success, chances are it's because it's on the back of Devin Neal. He's carrying the team. They had Jalen Daniels there too, which is good quarterback, but Devin Neal is the reason why Kansas finds success on offense. If he is shut down, they're going to struggle. So watch out for him. Just in the season, he's an all-around back. I really love his whole form in what he does, his running style, the way he cuts the ball, the way he can get yards after contact, his balance when he's getting hit. He doesn't really just go down. He's moving his feet forward. Everything to love about Devin Neal. I think he can do some great things at this next level, and he's going to be a top guy. Debbie Dash has been done on him too. Go out there and watch it. You'll see a little bit more on his plays there, but I love Devin Neal, and I think he's going to be a day two running back for me. Speaking of guys that I think are going to be top prospects, and Texas Tech wide receiver Micah Hudson. Now, this guy's a freshman wide receiver, but I think he's a freshman that could go in there and make an impact out the gate, really blow out as a freshman as well. Great route running. He's crisp, reliable hands. This could be an opportunity where a star is born in Lubbock, right? This is an opportunity for him to be the top guy for the Red Raiders. He's one of the wide receivers that I think he can make a quarterback look great. And I just think the fact that he's so crisp but yet so agile in his run running. He's like that smooth in between. Like he's very sharp in his cuts, but he's also very fast when he makes his cuts. Plus the reliable hands. That's a big part in his success and why he will be great. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do at this next level, at this collegiate level. And he's going to be someone we're going to talk about for a few years now here heading into his freshman season. Running backs, the Big 12 has lots of running backs here, but we're going to talk about Kansas State running back DJ Giddens. Smooth runner, holds it down for Kansas State. I really like the way he runs the ball as well. Vertical runner with some good vision. Finds the hole quickly, to just get in and get into the secondary very quickly. He did see an increase in the workload and delivered on every aspect, when he got that increase. He really did. From yards to stiffness, just looked overall better. 59% of his yards came after contact, which is great, and he had 69 missed tackles for us, which is also awesome. Kansas State running back DJ Giddens is getting overlooked a lot. I think he's a day three prospect, but yeah, he's someone that he can fit a committee back and still be a supportive runner. He's one of those guys that can do less is more. He had more production, with more carries, but I think he can still make an impact when he's not necessarily the workhorse back either. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Again, elusive back, knows how to break away and gain those extra yards and fight for him. So it's going to be exciting to see how he's elevating this year after having the workload last year and getting the bulk of the carries. Are they going to continue that with him and give him it? Or are they going to ease it back a little bit, give him less? Either way, this kid can find the holes quickly. He's going to pick up yards in bunches. He's going to get you some touchdowns. He's a great asset to have in some Devy leagues, your deeper Devy leagues, I will say, but also in C2C. I think he's going to do great things for the college side for sure. Another one, sliding up my radars here, that's going to be Iowa State running back Abu Sama. I mean, you started looking at him over the summer. Shout out Nino Brown, putting me on it too and just talking about him. But started putting me, him on the summer, started watching some tape on him, and I was like, okay, all right, this kid, speed and strength and speed, fights for his yards, gets outside quickly. He's out on the edges quickly. Has the strength that allows him to maintain balance after contact. Shifty runner, with some good hands too. He's catching balls, when they're over him, still bringing them down. Had a total of 611 yards that season. Okay, 611 yards. Nothing. You're not like, oh wow, that's crazy. But 611 yards. But 550 of those yards came after contact. That was an impressive stat that I saw about him. So I started doing the math. Okay, 550, 611. 90% of his yards last season came after contact. 90% of his yards last year came after contact. This kid does not want to go down. It is hard to tackle him. He is fighting for every single inch, every single yard. He is keeping his feet moving forward. 36 missed tackles forced. He has the elusiveness to separate from the defenders, to evade the defenders before they even get to him. This kid, he could do wonders. This is the year for him. he's gonna break out as an Iowa State star, and I'm excited to see that breakout campaign for him this season. It's gonna be a big year for Abu Sama, and he's going to elevate. Do I expect to get 90% of his yards after contact again? Nah, but he's gonna get damn near 60, probably 55 at minimum. I think 55% of his yards will come after contact. That's how great he is. And when you watch the tape, you'll understand. Iowa State running back Abu Sama, man, excited to watch him. He's definitely a prospect that um I wasn't that familiar with last year until I watched over the tape this summer. I was like, oh snap, how did I miss this guy? I'm watching him this year. I'm watching Iowa State because I want to see running back Abu Sama. Another guy here is going to be TCU wide receiver Eric McAlister. Good catch radius, reliable hands, allows him to be a red zone target. Uh, doesn't do much after the catch, but he's someone that 18.6 yards per reception last season. This kid stands 6'3", 6'4", maybe like 6'5". He's one of those taller wide receivers, right? Your prototypical size for the wide receiver, and that's what's gonna be good. That's why people fall in love with him, right? You saw Quentin Johnson. Will he be Quentin Johnson 2.0? Hopefully not. I think Eric McAlister has a little bit more of that playmaking ability than what Quentin Johnson can have. But I definitely am excited to see what he can do. Go into TCU, being their top wide receiver, their ex wide receiver, being the red zone guy, being in the Big 12. Is he going to step up and be a top wide receiver in this conference, or is he gonna just get faded in a bunch? Going to TCU now. So this is gonna be a big season for him. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen and come out for him. And I think you do need to be aware of what he is. I think right now he's just a reliable wide receiver because he has the size, he has the catch radius, and I think that's something we see elevate this year because he's got asked to do a lot more this season at TCU. For my running backs, though, last running back, out of my top 10 here is going to be West Virginia running back Jahiem White. Now, the Big 12 hosts a lot of running backs. I mean, I've talked about a few here. Jahiem White should not be unnoticed, though. 406 of 842 yards came after contact. That's something I'm always watching out. 7.7 yards per carry last season. Had 5 catches for 125 yards. 5 catches for 125 yards. That's crazy. 32 missed tackles forced, and he's 5'7", 195. So that's the worry, right? Like, is that the NFL type of running back being 5'7", under 200 there? I don't know. But still, for a college standpoint, this is an exciting guy to watch, because he is a playmaker. He does have the elusiveness. He does have the footwork and the agility. He does have the speed. West Virginia is a better offense because he's on the team. On your college side drafts, your C2C leagues, he is someone you want. And Devy, deeper Devy's, I'm taking him because you never know what this opportunity could bring. With that size, he may see himself in special teams. I'm excited to see what kick returns are in the NFL this year because this can open up the door for a lot more guys because we're going to see what teams do and how they get and game scores and stuff. Open up the door for a lot more guys like a Jahiem White, a guy that doesn't necessarily need to be a running back, but put him back there in special teams. And guess what? Because he has a shifty nature to his running game, he's to go out there and he's to get 800 yards, in kick return yards, and then a couple of touchdowns, stuff like that, because of that versatility and that elusiveness that he could bring. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. I think the big season in store for him, especially after that 7.7 yards per carry last season. It's only going to get better as he's might get more carries this year, so you're going to see that drop just naturally, but still going to be pretty high up there, 5.5 if not higher yards per carry for Jahiem White, West Virginia running back. Now, as we always do, those are my top 10. But the honorable mentions for the offensive side of the ball. This one's honorable because I'm excited. Dorian Singer out of Utah, transferred over to Utah. Bro, like, come on, man. Like, we've talked about you, haven't delivered. I want to see it. So he's on my radar this year. Colorado, I mentioned they have weapons. Wide receiver Will Shepard coming over from Vanderbilt. That's going to be a big one as well. I want to see that, what he's going to do with Shedeur Sander, possibly playing opposite of Travis Hunter there. UCF quarterback KJ Jefferson. All right, you went to UCF, bro. Let's see what you can do. UCF running back RJ Harvey. He's great running back too. Let's see what you can do, bro. This UCF offense is going to be something to see. I'm excited to see what they can do. I think they're going to have a lot more speed this year, and they're just going to be ready to compete. They're an underdog for me when it comes to the Big 12 conference. But enough of the underdogs. Let's talk about what wins the championships, and that is defense. Top IDP guys, my top five of the Big 12, starting with Colorado cornerback Travis Hunter. We talked about him a lot already. Um, if he enters the draft as a defensive back, I think he's more likely to be a top 10, top 15. I'll say top 15. More likely to be a top 15 pick as a defensive back than he would as a wide receiver. The wide receiver class, the top is too good, bro. Like you're not jumping Luther Burden, you're not jumping Ted, you're not jumping Mecca Buka, I don't think. And if Evan Stewart comes out, you're not jumping him. So go in there as a cornerback, be the top DB off the board, which is potentially what you can do, and be that great. Travis Hunter, man, he's if you're looking up playmakers or playmaking or versatility or um, phenomenal athlete. Colorado's a definition, or excuse me, Travis Hunter is a definition of that. So excited to see what he does on both sides of the ball. More excited to see what he's doing on the defensive side because I think that's where he's gonna make his money at the next level. Time will tell, but it'll be nice to see what he's gonna do. My next guy, Oklahoma State linebacker Nicholas Martin. Now I've done a Devy dash on him as well. This guy, as a freshman, was top linebacker in the Big 12. Came in with 140 tackles. Plays with aggression. Fun player to evaluate. Moving forward. Just sideline to sideline speed. He's gonna be the leader at Oklahoma State. And I said in my Devy dash, I think he's gonna be the top tackler, the top linebacker in the Big 12 this season. That's my verdict on him. Definitely someone to watch going into his sophomore season. So he's class of 2026 for all of y'all. But he's definitely going to be something that's going to be a player that's going to be fun to watch and see how he progresses. That 2026 class for the linebackers is looking like it has a studded cast of linebackers. Like, oh boy, we're going to see some good talent come out. Nicholas Martin's going to be one of those in the top discussion there. Another one, I'm gonna shout out my guy Nino Brown again because we talked about our Devy Dash. He brought up this guy in Texas Tech's linebacker Ben Roberts. Came out another top linebacker in the Big 12. Speedy linebacker, plays close attention to the gaps. Understands where he needs to be at the right time. As a freshman, made himself known, closing in with 33 run stops. And hardly missed a tackle. He had less than 7% missed tackle rate. Great technique, a leader for the Red Raiders, and again, we brought up Micah Hudson earlier. You have two playmakers on the side of the ball now. Ben Roberts is a vocal leader. I think he's going to do wonders for this Texas Tech defense, and because of him, they're going to be tough to play every week. He's just that type of guy where he's not going to allow the runs to get open. He's not going to allow those lanes to get open for the runners. So he's going to be a linebacker that is going to be watching the quarterbacks pretty closely, as well as the running backs pretty closely. But at the same time, he can also drop into coverage if he needs to with that speed. He has that sideline and sideline speed and the ball pursuit awareness to know where the ball's at on the field at all times that he's getting there in the snap when it comes to getting after the ball there. Now, our number 4 guy, Kansas cornerback Cobee Bryant, playmaking quarterback that gets his hands on the ball. Sometimes he's a little bit overly aggressive. That's what I've noticed watching the film, where he's missing some tackles there, and his speed. He's going after it too quick. And sometimes, bro, you need to slow down. It's okay to slow down, but yet you can still slow down and still make a hard hit, right? But he still looks great. He less than 60% completion rate when he's targeted. Has the name to monitor because he has the ideal size to go up against some of your top wide receivers. He's going to play big. 7 interceptions in the past 2 seasons. So he's someone that gets hands on the ball. He's someone that could put his pressure on the quarterback because of his size as well, on the wide receiver, put his pressure on him at the line. He's could be physical if he needs to. Kansas, sleeper for the Big 12, man. Cobee Bryant's a big reason why. Mello Dotson as well. We're going to talk about him in honorable mentions, but that's another cornerback. They have 2 pristine cornerbacks that I think will challenge every Big 12 wide receiver, every wide receiver that they play, whether it's Big 12 or out of conference. And because of that, it's going to deflate an offense because there's going to be times in situations of games where they're going to completely shut out the wide receivers, and it's going to impact the game. They're going to change the tide in the game. I talk about like James Pierce doing something like that. These 2 guys, Mello Dotson and Cobee Bryant, man, they can honestly be the top cornerback duo in the nation, I think. Cobee Bryant, Mello Dotson. Kansas has some guys. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. It's going to be nice watching them this season. Another one, I'm going through these guys, trying to figure out the tape and watch them. And I want to bring this guy up instead of honorable mention because I liked it and I want to see what he's gonna do. And that's gonna be Utah edge rusher Logan Fano. Um, in 5 games last year, he had 4 sacks. And I saw the stat and I'm like, okay, let's watch it. This kid man is getting after the ball. He is he understands what he needs to do as an edge rusher. He learned behind Jonah Ellis last year, who's now gone in the NFL. He's gonna make some big things happen. He didn't get a lot of playing time because he didn't need to. They had other guys on defense. Those other guys are gone. It's him now. Logan Fano is going to be a heavy hitter for the Utah defense. He is going to be an anchor for the front seven. He is going to be someone that's going to cause mayhem in the backfield. He is going to get around the blockers smoothly and quickly. He is going to put fear in the eyes of quarterbacks or running backs because that's how quick he gets there. If it's a handoff, he's going to get there and get that tackle as well. Um, Utah in the Pac-12 was arguably the best defense in the Pac-12. I don't think that's gonna happen in the Big 12. There's other teams that have good defenses as well, but Utah is going to be a contender for the top defense. That's how good they are. I think Logan Fano is going to be a big part of that. He's going to have some big plays impacting it. But again, just the way he uses his hands, the way he's getting around the blockers, the way he's attacking the line of scrimmage to make sure that the gaps are closing in, that the pressure is coming in on the quarterback. He's going to learn and evaluate. We saw a glimpse of it last season, and it looked great. I'm excited to see what we can see in full snap counts, what we can see in full games from him this year. Time is now for him. I want to talk about him because he's one of my most exciting prospects to watch right now in the Big 12. Utah edge rusher Logan Fano. Now, honorable mentions IDP as we're always doing. TCU linebacker Caleb Alarms or like it. TCU needs help on defense, and I think that's someone that he's going to step up big and be a big part for him. To have an impactful season yet again and be someone for that TCU defense. Kansas quarterback, as I mentioned, Melo Dotson, him and Cobee Bryant. I think they're gonna put this nation on those, man. They're gonna be two of the top defensive backs in this year for Kansas. There, you have Oklahoma State safety Kendall Daniels, another great prospect. You put him behind Nicholas Martin, that's gonna be huge. Iowa State defensive back Jeremiah Cooper, another great guy. Iowa State has a good defense, man. Don't sleep on them. They're a sleeper team that they can upset a lot of teams because they have good guys on defense as well. And West Virginia quarterback Garnett Hollins Jr., a top guy that I think. I talked about Jahiem Wyatt, West Virginia. Garnett Hollins, he's going to be asked to cover a lot of the top guys, and I think he's going to do that well. I think he's going to shut out a lot of guys as well. So he's someone to keep on your radars too when it comes to the IDP of the Big 12. That one, we're all done here today, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching the Big 12 Devy prospect preview on both the offensive and IDP side of the ball. As always, man, if y'all enjoy fantasy football, you like redraft, dynasty, Devy, Frankenstein, guillotine, whatever type of league it is, this is the channel for you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate your all support. We're dropping content daily. I am SC Romero at X at the PPR. So follow the Fantasy Football Universe at the FF Universe. Until next time, I appreciate y'all joining in. Peace.